Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we are reviewing the third round of the Autumn Nations series. Um yeah, what a round of games. Some big wins, some big losses, some tight games, some decent games. So yeah, let's get right into it. Um we'll start things off with the Ireland Argentina, which obviously happened on the Friday night. Ireland blew out of the gates, going to a 22-9 lead at half time. Looking fairly comfortable, to be honest with you. But then Argentina managed to claw it back. And to be honest with you, for the last 20 minutes, it was genuinely felt like a matter of when and not if they were going to score the winner. But Ireland just about managed to hold on. Final score there 22-19 to the Irish side. Again, I didn't think Ireland were that amazing for where they have been over the last few years. Again, I really didn't think they were quite at that level at the minute. Argentina, though, have come out amazingly. I really think Argentina have found some good form. Yeah, it's great to see. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see because Argentina, I believe, are playing France next week, which could be another game and a half. But yeah, Ireland, they have Fiji, I believe, next week, so a slightly lighter test for them to hopefully try and build some confidence back. But yeah, again, not an amazing performance from them, as I was saying. Next up, we have Scotland, Portugal. Yeah, I mean, this game was kind of what most people expected. Second string Scotland team, still fairly comfortable 59-21 in the end to Scotland. Portugal definitely did have glimpses and moments in that game. I mean, they scored 3 tries. But Scotland were just, yeah, you could tell the gap between the two sides. I mean, what is it? It's like 2 of the players on the Portugal side are still amateur, so what did you kind of expect? But I do think this was really good for Portugal. It gives them some good money. It gives them some good exposure. And I hope teams like Portugal can get involved in stuff like this more. It's a shame that they're only playing one game. I reckon they'd actually beat Wales in a minute. So that would be an interesting game. But yeah. Not much to cover on this one. I thought it was a second string Scotland team, fairly sloppy from them, to be honest. But again, you'd kind of expect it. Portugal, though, looked all right. Next up, we have England, South Africa. And again, England just looked slightly off the pace. They were not terrible. I think this was definitely one of the better performances as of recently, but still not quite at that level yet. South Africa, again, I didn't think were quite playing to their full potential either. But they definitely did enough to win. What's that, 5 losses in a row now for England? Lots of people start to question Borthwick. I say stick with him and hope that England do not improve because it's quite funny. But yeah. Again, though, England's problem is scoring in the second half. They only scored 3 points, whereas South Africa scored 10. Like, you can't let, especially against the bigger teams, you can't do that because most teams will punish you if you can't score. And, well, all teams will, but again, for England, they just couldn't score in that second half. Yeah. Be interesting to see. England have Japan next week, a game that they probably should win. South Africa are playing Wales, which we'll talk about Wales in a few minutes, but yeah, I'm not going to talk on that one. Next up was France-New Zealand. I know I didn't give an exact preview for this, but I did predict France to win, and it was just about right. What a game this was. Definitely one of the more entertaining ones from this weekend. France 30, New Zealand 29. It's always a corker when these two meet. It really is. I thought France were back to being incredible again. I know they kind of peak and trough at random points throughout the year, but that was definitely France at their best. Can I just say I loved what the Stade de France did with Haka. the way they made the stadium completely dark and then had the two floodlights on each team. I thought that was incredible, and was the perfect build-up to an exciting game. So yeah, that was a massive win for France. New Zealand, again, I think it was a kind of 50-50 game, and they just, someone had to lose. Yeah, but I thought New Zealand were slightly better than they had been in previous weeks. Next up, we have Italy, Georgia. Again, a game I didn't preview into that much depth. This was the only prediction I got wrong. I did say Georgia to win. And to be honest with you, for most of the game, it did look like that way. They ran up to a 17-6 lead at half-time. But Italy, with apparently their biggest comeback ever, Italy winning at 20 points to 17 in the end. So, again, another classic example of a team not being able to score in the second half and getting punished for it. We've seen that a couple of times now. But yeah, what a game between these two sides. It's definitely shown that Georgia need more Tier 1 competition. Again, if they're pushing Italy, again, I reckon they could beat Wales at the minute. I reckon they'd push other teams, maybe in England or something. But yeah, it really is a good sight to see Georgia challenging these top teams, and just hope they can get something soon. As Richard Cockrell was saying after the game, that they're proving that they are ready for that next step, and it's just if they'll get it. But yeah, and then last but definitely not least, the team that Georgia should replace in everything at the minute, Wales. If I speak, 20 points to 52 to Australia. Wales were absolutely destroyed. The funny part was, I say funny part, the unfortunate part for Wales was that 3 of those tries were scored when Australia were down to 14 men. At a point where usually the team who are the man up profit 7 points. That's the average turnaround for, yellow. I know it was a 20-minute red, so say 14 points, but on average it's the team with a man advantage profits 7 points from a player in the bin. And it just didn't happen there. Australia, again, I thought Australia were good. I didn't think they were that amazing, to be honest with you. Wales are just that far off the pace at the minute, I think. So many questions for Warren Gatland. Is it all his fault? I don't think it's all his fault. I think he plays a role in it, yes. But I do think there are other massive problems in Welsh rugby, and they need a massive, massive change, or else this is just going to get even more funny. I shouldn't laugh because Scotland will be back in that position some point soon. But yeah. As a Scotland fan, I am really excited for this Australia game next week. Again, I'll preview it later on in the time. It's only Monday, but yeah. Australia, they beat England and Wales. There's lots of hype about them doing this Grand Slam of the home nations, which you beat the 2 weakest teams in it. Well done. You've now got to come to Murrayfield and go to the Aviva, which is a lot tougher. But I'll talk about that nearer the time. But yeah, that is us. That's all the games. But yeah, what a weekend of rugby. Some absolute stellar matches, and it's great to see the Portugals and the Georgias being involved. I mean, even on a further down level, Fiji played Spain, and Spain definitely showed that they are on the rise. They were winning at half-time, I believe. So it's good to see these lower down Tier 2 nations getting games against the bigger teams, and just hope it happens more. Because at the minute it seems to only really be Scotland and Italy, occasionally a Wales, who are opening their doors to playing these Tier 2 teams. Yes, you might get the odd game from everyone else, but it's mainly World Cups. But you look, Scotland toured them in the, Scotland toured Americas in the summer. So I think more needs to be done to show them, as they are definitely proving that they are in with a chance. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. England and Wales struggle again. As a Scotland fan, one of them's funny to see. I feel slightly bad for Wales. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. and I shall see you later.